Hello everyone, my name is Daniel and I'm just a casual racer, and today we are in Rennsport. So, wanted to jump in this title. We've been working on a few things, got some projects, we're just an outsourcing partner. Probably a smaller one, I don't know. I know there are a few other former mod teams. I know a lot of just smaller studios that are working on it, and of course we've kind of, we're a few modders that got together with some other, more dedicated software devs to create authentic simulation, so we've been doing some work for them. Anyways, I haven't driven Rennsport in a long time. I saw some videos from Gamescom of Gamer Muscle trying it out, Traction trying it out, and I was like, you know what? Let's jump on here and give this a go and see how Rennsport looks currently. How does this game look today? And so, thought, why not jump on? I saw some online races. Tried to do one earlier, it was kind of a disaster. The server actually dropped, but it was also having issues with sounds. The car's sound was intermittent. Anyways, restarted, went back in, found another session. So far, everything seems to be running pretty well. So, maybe a little early access bug. Not too worried about that, I suppose, now that it's working fine. I think I will say I'm driving the BMW GT3 car here. I was driving, I think it's like a BMW Cup car that's been added to the game. In that earlier session, I did not like that car. Oh boy, screwed that up, got on the curb. I felt very disconnected and just not... The car felt odd. I don't even know how to fully explain it, but with this car, the BMW, pretty much any of the GT3 cars, which I know has been kind of their bread and butter for the last while, not too bad, right? Pretty decent experience. I would say force feedback wise, overall driving physics wise, it's interesting. I was kind of hoping maybe there'd be a bit more of an improvement than there has. But that's not to say it's not bad. I think the last time I reviewed this, which was like at least 6 months ago. Yeah, I guess it was about 6 months ago. Whoa! Well, that was interesting. There was no feedback on the loss of traction there that I felt to the force feedback, so that was interesting as well. Yeah, I don't think I think I've mentioned this before. Did I mention this before? I'm pretty sure I've said this about this game before. I don't think the I don't think the physics are necessarily that bad. I think the force feedback just kind of sucks, which is unfortunate. I know they're using the license, the ISI motor, what led to R Factor 2. R Factor 2's taken a different development route more recently since Motorsports Games developed it, but it's along that line. It's that R Factor side of game engines. And it doesn't feel bad. It feels relatively good in terms of, I think, how the car handles. It's just the issue is the communication between the car, what it's doing in the simulation, and how I can perceive that through sound, through the force feedback, etc. That, I think, is the biggest thing that's lacking in Rennsport. Now, ultimately, it might not matter as much because at the end of the day, with the new console approach and everything for Rennsport, the big focus, right, is going to be having this play great on controllers, right? It just needs to be a little more realistic than GT7, a little more approachable, perhaps in like ACC, something a little step up from like the F1 series or Gran Turismo 7, I think is honestly what they're going to be happy with. Lapping here. I think fourth is even running, or fifth. What, 5 people entered in this race? So I guess there's only 3 of us running, I think, and I'm in third. So not doing very well pace-wise here. We'd have that spin, though. But also, I'm sure some of the people that do play this a decent amount put in some hours. I mean, it is currently a free racing game, and that's the other interesting part, right? Is that, is this game going to be worth $70? I know they got the 2 historic car packs, which to me came out of nowhere because I was told way back in the day that they weren't going to be doing historic content, really, so that was very interesting to see. And then I've also know they're going to be doing a DLC that's going to be like track cars, something like that. We have, you know, you can put 2 and 2 together. One of the projects that we're going to be bringing to RenSport. Oh, we've already brought it, actually. It's just when they release it, actually. So whenever RenSport decides to add the car we've developed, it'll be in the game. Maybe it'll be released for the 1.0. Maybe it'll be a standalone DLC pack. I don't know. The one thing RenSport does not do well is communicate with any of their partners. We never have a clue. Like, we literally find out everything when the public does. There's no updates, there's no emails, there's no internal blog, there's nothing. Yeah, so we'll see. I mean, do I think $70 is quite a lot? Would it be like the USD for the kind of limited amount of content, a game that still doesn't have AI? I'm not optimistic about the state of the AI when the game does launch, so I think they're going to have it'll be a very interesting thing to see. I think it's overall going to be it's going to be a struggle. It's going to be a struggle. Now, maybe it'll be listed as 70 and they'll go straight into they'll have like an initial weekend sale, and then they'll have a sale, and every time they have a chance to have a sale, they'll have a sale. In every Steam store sale, they'll have to put it on a sale. I don't know. Maybe they think they can turn more console sales at full price than on PC, because on PC they sure are selling this for $70 as it is. To me, the price point, I don't hate the change in Move, but the price point, in my opinion, should have been, let's go to $19.99, $20. You know, a nice indie game price. You get everything, and I think those 2 historical DLC packs that are coming, I would have combined them as to one, and just had one DLC pack. What the heck? They just wrecked me. Just lapping here, dude. I don't even get that. Like, that just added penalty points to my thing. I wonder if there's a way to report that or something, because that's just really annoying. Yeah, the stuff like that, but I mean, there's not enough user base, and that's the thing. They're trying to like do these incident points and have like an iRacing experience. There's no AI to race against, because I'd sure be racing against the AI if I could, because people online are just annoying. I was literally doing iRacing this last weekend, and I was doing an IndyCar race, and people were just maniacs. I think half the field didn't finish. They got incident pointed out. It was like an 85 lap race at Gateway, and half the field made it. Maybe it was like 24 cars, I think, starting out, and by the end of it was like 12. I didn't make the end either. I think I got eliminated on like lap 78. Had a guy just send it up the inside. So I was like a lap down. I pull high side to let some cars, leaders go through. Then there's a car that's like a lap behind me who decides, oh, I'm just gonna send it, follow these guys through and get by me, which we're not even fighting for position, we're on a different lap. And he just careens right into me. Also, that pace car just sitting there, not a great look. I don't know. You know, so my point with this is, iRacing is great, sometimes, but all online lobbies, there's idiots, as we've just seen in this lobby, in this race. So if in every lobby there's idiots, I really don't feel that. There's nothing to tell you you're going to lose it. You see it visually, and that's when you know. Yeah, so it's interesting for Rennsport, right? It's been such a focus on esports and such a focus, which, you know, esports just has been a major flop in the sim racing community. And then there's been the, you know, the focus on, you know, special, unique cars with IDs and special liveries and all this stuff that just doesn't make sense for racing games. And now you're going to switch with the content you have, a no clear identity, because the, you know, putting all your eggs into an esports basket leaves you into just, well, we'll be iRacing, but there's not enough people online to have good iRacing, you know, iRacing racing, and there's definitely not enough people to have the different tiers based on your safety rating. We only got 5 people, I don't know how many people, 3 people that are actually racing here. So you just end up with idiots ruining people's races in tiny little lobbies, which then just continue to shrink. So It's sometimes I feel like, well, I'll just put it this way. How about I put my suggestion? I would have your 1.0 release would need to lean heavily into offline. I would have heavily looked into doing some sort of innovative career type thing or custom championships or something innovative. I do think leaning into online mode is good, but I would have done a lot of private lobbies. Free, easy to structure private lobbies, kind of like the Project Cars series allowed you to do. That's a no-brainer for me. And then finally, the by having that, obviously you need really good AI. So really good AI. I don't think you need a ton more content, really. And I don't even think you need change the physics a ton. You do need to improve the force feedback. So I guess let's go in order of priorities here. Number 1, add AI. Number 2, improve the force feedback. Number 3, private lobby support. Make it something fun for friends to race and have fun together. These are things they're not doing that I know of. And finally, number 4, I would say do like some sort of career mode, some sort of fun offline career mode. Could be pretty short even. It doesn't have to be something major. I mean, honestly, you could do something kind of like, maybe without all the cutscenes, but something more along the lines of where you're kind of in scenarios or something like that as a driver and you work your way through all the cars or something. I don't know. There's got to be something more than what the game has now. And then if you, and then the 5th thing is charge $20. Problem is, for what it is now, it just doesn't have enough to be a AAA $70 game, in my opinion. Yeah, weird little race here. Just running by myself. I was hoping I'd kind of be within some people, and all I've really done is just got run into. It's a little disappointing. Sorry, I couldn't get you guys something a little bit more exciting, but I also think this conveys realistically what you're going to get in most lobbies. You're not getting 15-car lobbies. And with the Assetto Corsa Evo, I know the lobbies right now, I think their max is 16. You're going to get 15-car lobbies in Ace, even at the current state over there. So, and with the early access release over there, it's going to be cheaper than $70 right now. I think it's like $40. And I think it's closing on having more content than Rennsport already. So, I don't know. Tricky. Another thing Rennsport could do as well, which they haven't done any modding tools really, is get that modding opened up sooner, but I don't hear any focus in that direction. And honestly, I almost wonder if there'll be any modding at all for this game. And what I have heard... Okay, this is conjecture. This is kind of just putting some pieces together, but my guess is that they're only, if they ever do add mod support, which I think will be down the road, they will only ever add mod support for tracks, and cars will remain made by them. Cars, more licensing, kind of a bigger deal. People don't love fantasy cars as much, but they'll often drive and enjoy a good quality fantasy track. So, I mean, I could see, man, it's so bad on the limit. I could really see them deciding to just go with, hey, okay, we're just gonna save the cars for ourselves, sell DLC packs, make money that way, sell the game for a high price, and then we'll open modding to the tracks at some point. And honestly, even if they did that, because I don't even hate that approach, and honestly, I get devs have to make money, and not every game is gonna be a massive, not every game is gonna be iRacing or Assetto Corsa, they're not, or the Formula 1 series, or Gran Turismo 7, or Forza Horizon. Sometimes they end up like, smaller title. But you still have to make money, and they can make money. And I think that's where Rennsport's best case scenario is a financially stable, smaller product. Fortunately, even reach that goal, they have some work to do, like I mentioned. What else to talk about here as I wander around this track? This video is probably not going to get that many views, but finish it out here. Probably do another extra video then, just to hedge my bets. Or maybe I'll just release this one a little early, pack it in. Another video I already did. I did a video on the Ligier and how that car is probably coming to Le Mans Ultimate, and how that car is already in Automobilista 2, talking about that series, the ACO series, kind of like an entryway ladder series, so feeder series, excuse me. So got that video. That video actually come out this week earlier. I'm making that decision right now as I drive. You get an additional video this week, being this one, so you shouldn't feel too bad about it being a little bit of a dud, but hopefully it's also informative. I know this is the last lap here, but hopefully this video is informative because, you know, I know a lot of you, RenSport's free, right? Try it out yourself if you're interested. To be honest, I had a little bit of a pain getting this thing running perfectly well, and I know other people have had that experience, so sometimes it is just useful, especially if it's a game you've had a bad experience with, you don't want to reinstall it, to just check someone's videos. I know I do that sometimes. I'll watch a video from Gamer Muscle or from Jimmy Broadbent and see, okay, what's going on in the world of sim racing, you know, and what do they have to say about the current state of this game or this hardware product, and it's really useful. So hopefully this gives you an idea that there's still a long ways to go for Rennsport. Obviously I'm driving the publicly pushed version. I'm not driving the one that was available at various expo events, but unless that version's massively different in performance and has a massively, you know, is a major update overall, a long ways to go in my opinion before this title's worth $70. They should aim at a $20 price point in my opinion, and then you'd have a chance with pushing to console and everything. So, anyways, that's been the race. Hope you found it informative, but most of all I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your week.